Greetings viewers, my name is Catsarepointy and welcome back to a brand new video here on my channel. Creative jump cuts just to keep things fresh and interesting. The reason for this video is none other than these bad girls. If you can find the viewfinder here. These bad girls. These are my mom's, what do you call them, boat shoes, sailors, side school, whatever. Well, she asked me to fix them. I was up in back home in the holidays, and to pass the time I brought my shoe shining kit and wanted to do a little spit shine mirror polish on my my boots to see if I still got it. And I was sitting there and my mom was like, "Oh, look at you, you brought your shoe." My mom doesn't sound like that, by the way. She was more like, and she unloaded like her shoe covered on me, and I ended up shining like 11 pairs of shoes or whatever. But it was fun. Shoe shining is meditative, mindful pastime activity, anyway. It's fairly close to yoga, I would suspect. But anyway, these shoes, the thread in the stitching here had come undone and all kinds of toes were sticking out and whatever, and she asked me if I could fix it, and I did. I fixed it, which just, it was fun. Okay, it was really fun fixing it, stitching leather again, polishing the leather to well, at least a better state than it was in, and I just thought, hell, I can make a video on it. That'll be something, at least, to see if I can make something interesting. I have absolutely no idea how to restore shoes, and this is absolutely not a shoe restoration video. YouTube is filled with restoring vintage Red Wing boot whatever, and either they're doing a whole sole repair with new leather soles. I'm gonna leave that in, with new leather soles, heel cap and steel toe plates, or they're fixing the upper, or yeah, whatever, doing massive things. Or it's just a video of some guy polishing his shoes, which is not really a restoration, is it? It's not even a fix, it's just what you do to your shoes, general maintenance. But I'll try not to be too much of a grumpy old man this early in the video. This is the one pair that had the broken stitch. I went to a whatever, and bought actual thread for stitching sails on sailboats, because I thought that would be cool. And more than that, I also sanded the there we go. I sanded the sole. It was fairly yellow and old and things, so just a little polish it with some coarse sandpaper to give it a bit more of the original whiteness back. And of course I emptied a bucket of shoe cream in the very dry leather and polished it, and of course I restitched the thread quite a number of times. When I undid the original stitch, I wasn't it looks like it's just normal saddle stitch, but on the inside it kind of looked a bit different, so maybe it's a machine stitch, and I couldn't quite figure out how it was made. But the square thingy here, I'll probably do a close-up of the other shoe as well, so I'll talk more in detail. I was struggling to figure out how the square thing was done in a most intelligent way, but I think I got it in the end. So yeah, also glued the sole back, dyed it where it was worn through. Well, not worn through, but certainly it looked to be worn. Other than that, it's just, yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I'm sure I made a ton of things that experienced cobblers or shoemakers or anyone who has experience handling shoes at all is like, no, you godforsaken piece of, why are you doing this? You are ruining, you are making the baby Jesus cry. I also used a soldering iron to get away some of the frizziness at the rough cut edges of the leather, which I'm sure is also quite a weird thing to do, but I think it worked out quite well. And I thought I might as well take you along for the other shoe, because I haven't done anything on this yet, and it does look quite different than the other one that is finished. So without further ado or Baloo or Bagheera, I don't know, let's get started. Okay, so fairly aggressive close-up. The autofocus apparently died, so I have no idea if the early monologue is in focus or not, but I'm not gonna bother taping it again. This is the finished shoe. You can see that the sole is still fairly, old. These are old shoes. It's not, as I know of, a high quality brand or anything, but it's. And the funny thing is, for my mom, it has no sentimental value. These are just, her shoes. But for me, they kind of have, because my mom has been wearing these shoes for a long time, and they kind of just, it's my mom's shoes, So I was quite happy that I was able to fix them for her, so she can still wear them for a long time. But I guess that's just how it is with parents and kids. I've got a jacket. It's just my jacket. I got this a few years ago, but for my kids, that's like, that's the one jacket I've ever worn. That's the only jacket I have. I do have more than one jacket. I just get the point across, will you? So this is the finished shoe. I did a quick dye job because it was worn through to the leather here, so it was just brown and stuff. So I dyed that and I glued it back because it had broken and come undone. I tried to find a replacement for the the insole thing with the archer port. I could not. If anyone's watching who know where I can, please just feel free to leave a link in the comment section below. This is the thread I was talking about earlier, which I got at a boat things shop. Yes, good. Originally it was torn here. There was a big hole in the seam, which is closed now, of course. This is the square thing that I struggle with the most, and well, yeah, all along these rough edges here, you can see on this little guy, can't see that good. This is the where I was talking about, but it kind of, it's very frizzy, fluffy, whatever. It kind of looks a bit more worn than it is because it's so fluffy. So I took a soldering iron and kind of singed it and compressed it back, and I think it kind of made a not a big difference, but at least it's a difference that I can see and feel. Kind of just feels more solid. Laces. So you can see it's been used. The sole is also very yellow. You can see it's not a huge difference, but it is a difference. Which I kind of think lifted the whole finished appearance quite a lot. It's going to be quite a lot of shoe polish or shoe cream going into this, because the leather is quite dry, and I will be replacing this stitch for no other reason than it was kind of fun to do, actually. But you know, also I'll be able to see, to judge the thing on the inside here better if I remove this. Well, apparently the camera gave out. If I remove this tongue upper thing, I'll be more able to assess the thing on the inside. But for really, it's just really fun to sew this thing back up with a saddle stitch and a wax thread. Oh jeez, don't show that. Yeah, that's it. Replace this, soldering iron, glue on the insole because it's loose and stuff, a bucket of polish and cream, and a bit of sanding. Cool. That's it. I'm just gonna, you know, stop recording now and do stuff, and I'll take some pictures when I feel like it. Maybe I'll shoot a few more segments and we'll just see how this turns. Stop showing the underside of the shoe, god damn it, look at the pretty one instead. It's so shiny. Yeah, so shiny. Good, nice shoe. Bye. Okay, so on the stitching, I kind of convinced myself that it was a standard saddle stitch, which is what I used on the other pair, but you know, mind is a fickle mistress, and nice stay, and I saw that when I was gonna undo this stitch that it was a single thread, so it's obviously not a saddle stitch, but as far as I can tell, it was just tied off with a knot here and weave through this here square thingy, and then it looks like it's threaded and then loops around itself all the way over, so it's kind of a bitch to just use a awl to undo the stitches, because some places the thread is stitched through itself, and of course it locks it into a unholy mess of frustration. So I'll just use the trusty old snippers and cut through the thread. Nice camera. Don't know if you can see it, but when a thread is pushed through itself in there somehow. Nice camera, good, not gonna worry about it. So I can't just pull it through because it'll get stuck and I have to cut it off. But yeah, so it's not originally done with the saddle stitch, just this, not even figure 8, I just continuous loop circling back on itself all the way around with a single thread. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have yes. Will this end in explosion and mayhem, or will a normal saddle stitch do the job? History will decide. Oh well. Onwards. Snip, 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 snip. Okay, so here we are. Got the... well, it's not really an upper... but this thingy. Got it off. Things are looking quite hard. This thing here, the leather insole thing, is fairly loose. I knew that was the case. It's a bit cracked here, but I'm not going to replace it because I don't know how. Also, I don't know where to get this. So I'm just going to use the that kind of glue. can see the stitching to the sole has broken in some places, but I'm not gonna be too worried about it. This is a big sole, it's glued. Yeah, it's got more than enough hold as it is. No need for me to start doing stuff that I have even less knowledge about. I am gonna glue this thing, and I'm gonna take this soldering iron and just run it across this open leather surfaces. That is a bit frizzy. Yeah. If people with more knowledge than me who are watching this tape wants to correct me, then please do so. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just kind of like the look of the more compressed edges, which I do on other leather things anyway, so yeah, whatever. Those are the next steps. Glue, heat, and then onwards to sanding and polishing, I think. Right. Let's see, the status is that I have now applied cream in a heavy layer to this dried, poor old leather. Let it soak up a bit, and just started stitching on the upper part here. This is the square knot section thing. I'm doing a saddle stitch, basically just one long thread with a needle in each end, bypassing each other. This is the saddle stitch, and I just basically every one of these stitches is just started at the back and doubling over each other to lock the thread in. It might be a bit overkill. I mean, it's more than it originally was with just one thread anyway, but at least this section will not fail. So yeah, every one of these is the thread doubling over, coming up, going down, coming up, going down, and coming up here, then going down into it. And basically it's fairly close to a box stitch, because it kind of, Jesus, focus thing, because this will kind of lay like a lid. So you're going in pretty much on the corner of the thing, and on the well, on the side of this one. So the stitches are kind of going diagonal rather than in this way. It's going this way. I'm sure that made a lot of sense, me pointing at it with an awl and stuff. Anyway, this is the thread coming through here, and the needles crossing each other. Hang on. I'm sure I can make this somewhat more accessible. So you're just going through this both sides, using the awl to widen or correct the holes if needed. Pressing the seam fairly flat and trying to not stab the needle through the thread, just in case I'd like to do it again sometime. Also trying to press the seam flat, as I said earlier, because otherwise it's very easy to end up with this kind of stitch, and it doesn't look nice. Not that it looks that fantastic. Anyway, yeah, you get the gist of it. You can see it starting to form. Cool. Now it's just a bazillion more stitches and I'm fairly close to finishing it. Let's go. So we're coming around the tip of the shoe,
I guess, toe part, and I'm using the saddle stitch, and I'm just using this awl to widen the previous holes, or just check for alignment, because sometimes if you pull too strongly on one side it'll shift a bit, so I'm just trying to recenter the whole thing before pulling one needle through, squeezing it as flat as possible, and the other end through the same hole to complete one stitch. I'm trying to always pass on the same side of the stitch, so it'll look more even, but I don't think that's gonna have any kind of visual effect on these shoes, because they are kind of if you use a saddle stitch to sew a wallet or a watch band or whatever, then the uniformity of the stitches would be a lot more important than just the already bunched up nose section of a toe section. Jesus, who puts their noses in shoes? The toe section of a shoe. But you might as well make a habit of it. Right. Just finish up this, and I'll see you soon. We're approaching the end here, folks. Stitching has been complete. Now it's just this final stitch going from this part over to this part, and this stitch is going through this layer and this layer underneath, and also tying it in with a kind of third middle layer leather on the inside. This needle goes through this one and it's attached to this one. I'll try to show you, but it's kind of hard acting as a cobbler and a tripod at the same time. But all in all, it's just continuing the there we go, focus, nice thing. Continuing the stitching onto the other part and tying it all together with the shoe itself and the tongue. And then it's just a matter of doubling over just to secure the whole thing and giving it a nice little aesthetic touch, which is quite iconic for the boat boots, boat shoes, side school, I don't know, whatever. Yep, cool. Almost there. And that's it, guys. The shoes are done. The seam has been re-stitched. The soles have been lightly sanded just to give them a bit more freshness. A bucket of shoe cream and shoe polish have been applied. Glue has been administered. Edges have been ironed, and I hope they'll walk for many more miles, or some other poetic way to end the video. It has been an absolutely delightful project. I've enjoyed every aspect of it immensely, much more than I anticipated. It's been great fun and really kickstarted my desire to do leatherworking again, as the rest of the table clearly depicts. But yeah, super happy to have been able to fix up my mom's old shoes, and I hope she'll be happy for it. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Couldn't end on a high note, could I? Thanks for watching.